you are actually going to grow on social media in the winter of 2025. Like January, February, March, April is your time to shine and blow up on social media. And here's exactly how you're going to do it. I am so deeply excited for today's video because today is the second installment of a series that we do over here in the world of Busy Blooming, which is a 3-month content strategy for each quarter of the year. And so today is season 1 of your content in 2025. There are 4 seasons of content, 4 quarters in the year. Each season of your content has a different vibe, a different content strategy. And today we're going to unpack your Q1 content strategy of how you're going to grow over the next 3 months, of exactly what you're going to post, how often you're going to post, what platforms to focus on, content ideas, your mindset, your bio, hooks, all of it. There is truly nothing I love more than a content strategy. You can take the girl to corporate, but you can't take the corporate out of the girl. And I just love a quarterly plan, a quarterly strategy throughout the year, especially when it comes to content. And if you know me, then you know I love to treat my content in seasons. It's my favorite thing to do is have a season of content with a specific era, a specific vibe. The best part about doing these content strategies every quarter, every season is that we all do them together, which is my favorite part. I do these as well because content creation is a lot, especially in the beginning of a new year. I know there are big things that you want to do in 2025. I know that there are big goals. You probably have a follower count, brand deals, an income count. You want to use social media to grow your business or grow clients or sell something. Maybe you want to start a podcast, start a YouTube channel. What's happening with TikTok? You want to get over on Instagram. There's a lot you want to do. There are big things going on, and I know it can be very overwhelming if you know what you want to do, but like, how do you do it? How do you grow on social? And I feel like one of the best ways to do it is to split your year and your content into seasons. So today we are kicking off season 1 of 2025 of our content. If you are new, if this is the first video of mine that you've ever seen, welcome to Busy Blooming, the happiest corner of content creation and social media. You are in good hands over here because, first of all, everybody who listens to the show is the kindest person you've ever met, but also we are all content creators, entrepreneurs, influencers, podcasters. And at Busy Blooming, the people who watch this show, like, we just know creating content is that deep. Like, it's deeper than followers and hashtags and trends and posting a million times a day. Like, we are trying to build our own corner of social media. We have a mission, we have a vision. There are big things that you want to do. So welcome to Busy Blooming. We will all welcome you in with open arms. Like, we are all building our vision on social media together. So welcome to Busy Blooming. And we're just going to get right into the strategy. So let's unpack how you're going to grow on social media over the next 3 months. Let's get into it. When thinking about growing your brand and your business on social media in 2025, one of the most important parts that so many creators and entrepreneurs miss is protecting your personal assets by registering for an LLC. An LLC separates your personal assets from your business assets, which is such an important step as a creator and as an entrepreneur. So that is where today's sponsor comes in, Taylor Brands. I'm so excited that they're sponsoring today's video. They're so amazing and they really make launching your business so simple and so seamless. They really seamlessly guide you through LLC formation and offering tools to help you succeed from day one. And Taylor Brands is a business builder. It's not just about registering your LLC. It's about setting up your business for long-term success, and you'll be able to unlock a free personalized business plan, business coaching, legal documents, and even bookkeeping tools all in one place. As a content creator, it's so important to treat your content like a real business. And Taylor Brands helps you do just that in a stress-free, easy way. So if you're ready to grow your social media while building a legit business, check out the link in my description or the pinned comment to get started with Taylor Brands today. And using that link, you'll get 35% off all the LLC plans. So let Taylor Brands handle the business setup while you focus on creating and scaling your business. And thank you to Taylor Brands so much for sponsoring today's video. You have to go check them out. They're so amazing. And let's get into the video. Okay, so kicking it off with what you probably already know I'm going to say. Every good content strategy and growth plan for social media always begins with your mindset. I think my favorite video I've ever posted on this podcast is the mindset video I did for the first episode of a series that we did at the end of 2024, which was called 100K Season. I loved that series so much, but I did a full deep dive video about the mindset to have to grow to 100K, to make 100K through social media. So if you want to go check out that video, go check it out. But with every season of content, with every quarter of content kind of kicking off a new chapter for you, I feel like your mindset is the most important thing because you are your biggest asset to your business, to your brand, to your content. And it all begins with how you're viewing yourself and how you're viewing the season of content that you're in. So for season 1, Q1, there are 2 main mindsets that I want both of us to have going into this quarter of content. And the first mindset I want you to have have is that you are stepping in right now to a phase where you are in a season of setting the foundation for social media and for yourself for the rest of the year. So if I was to tell you that I'm going to run a 12-mile race, what would you tell me to do if you're not trying to sabotage me in the first 3 miles of a 12-mile race? Would you tell me to run as fast as possible, rush to the finish line, be urgent, be quick, use all of your energy and burn out? No. What you would probably tell me to do is to use the first 3 miles of a 12-mile race to set a solid foundation, set an easy pace so that I can finish the 12-mile race strong and get the gold medal at the end, and I don't burn out after the first few miles, because then you can't finish the race and you can't do all the things you want to do. That is exactly how we're going to view social media as creators, entrepreneurs, podcasters going into the content right now in January, February, March, a little bit of April. Like, this time we're in right now is a foundation setting time, both for yourself internally as a creator, setting good routines, habits, posting schedules, filming setups, maybe getting some new equipment or refreshing your setup, but also externally for your social media. You were setting the foundation for the whole year of all the things that you want to do. You were kind of setting the bar for yourself of who you are, what you do, the quality of your content, the style of your content, your vibe, your brand, all of it. We're in a foundation setting era right now. That is the mindset we're in. I know the beginning of the year can be a lot. Like, people are waking up at 5 a.m. doing 75 hard, which we love that. Like, if anybody over here is doing 75 hard and trying to wake up at 5 a.m., like, we are all here to support you. But I know social media can feel so overwhelming right now, and like, you are already behind somehow, and it's like January, maybe February, March when you're watching this, and somehow you feel behind. That is what New Year's content makes you feel. And I want you to know, we have not even started yet. We're in season 1. Think about when you watch a TV show and you're watching season 1. Like, it's all introducing the characters, setting the plot. It's the beginning. It's setting the foundation. Like, that is where we are in the year right now. We have this much to go. There are this many things we want to do. We are right here. So I want you to take this time right now to really set a good foundation, and that's going to be the theme of our content. So we're going to get into that more, but just get in that mindset right now. We're not behind. We're not in a race. We're not in a rush. We're at the first 3 miles of a 12-mile race. The second mindset I want you to have is that you are stepping into a blank slate on social media as a creator that has never existed before. Because the thing is, 2024 is over. We can't even see her. Thank goodness she is gone. The content you created, the topics, the styles, who you were in 2024, if you called yourself an influencer or a podcaster, or if you called yourself an expert in something, or you created content in a certain way, that's all irrelevant. That is okay. That's back in the past chapter, in the past season. 2025 just has a good sound to it, and I know 2025 is going to be the best year you have ever had, because you are the most elevated version of you you've ever been. And this year is going to be the year where everything that you have learned in the past about content creation and business and podcasting and entrepreneurship, this is the year it's all going to come together and happen for you. And you can be anybody you want to be on social media. In that video on mindset we did a couple videos ago, we really talked about thinking about the 100K version of you or the 1 million version of you. And I want you to think about that person. Like, okay, if you had 1 million followers and made $1 million a year from social media, who is that person? Like, who is that version of you? What kind of content do they make? What do they talk about? What are they experts in? When people are at events and they say, okay, I'm really struggling with this, and they mention you, like, what are the things that you help people with? That is the person who is stepping into this blank slate on social media. If you've always been waiting to talk about certain things, or be more of a lifestyle influencer, or have a higher quality setup, or use your back camera to film your get ready with me's, or you will always want to talk about fashion, or pivot your brand, or get started on YouTube, or start the podcast, or write a book, change up your services, increase your prices if you're do coaching, like, this is the time to do it, because those are the things that the 1 million version of you does. And one of the hardest things to do as a creator when you're creating content on social media is that we let what we've done in the past affect us, and we kind of create this own box for ourselves that nobody else does. But we feel like, okay, I've always talked about this certain topic, or I've always filmed videos in this way, and that's what I'm known for, and that's what my followers think about me, so I have to stick to that. That is not true. You can be exactly whoever you want to be. You set the scene. You set your standard. You create your brand in your corner of social media, and that can be exactly whatever you want it to be. And if you're going into this year feeling out of alignment, or you're not loving your content, or you're feeling like you're in a box, or you just know deep down that there's something else you want to do on social media, or you want to launch that business, this is the time to do it, because 2025 is your time as a content creator to do the things you've been wanting to do. And you can start this at any time. Again, if you're feeling like, okay, but I'm watching this in the middle of January or the middle of February, and I should have started this on January 1st, again, we're in the prep months. We're in the setting the foundation phase. You can decide any day to really start stepping into this new identity, this blank slate. I literally changed my YouTube schedule yesterday. You can start and have day one be any single day because we have so many months right now to set this foundation. Maybe you'll try something and need to pivot again, but don't feel like you're behind, or if you didn't start posting content a certain style or a certain brand, or you didn't update your bio on Instagram on January 1st, it's already too late. It's not too late. Your day one starts any day that you want. And especially if you're watching this in the beginning of the year, when it's December 31st, 2025, you're gonna be looking back on this time and be like, I should have just started doing that. That was so long ago. That was like the beginning of 2025. So the second mindset we're bringing in is that you were stepping into a blank slate of content, a blank slate as a creator. You can be anybody you want to be, create any kind of content you want to create, because 2025 is going to be the best year for you on social media. Okay, so now we got our mindsets checked off. We got our 2 solid mindsets going in to the first season, the first quarter of the year with content. Now it is time to officially pick the era that we were going to be in, or the theme that we're going to be in for content. But before we get deeper into the content strategy, one thing I need to tell you is that if you have never seen one of my videos before, and if you have, you already know what I'm going to say, and you're going to be like, okay, Tess, we've heard this 1 million times. If you cannot answer the question, if you were to be invited on the Mel Robbins podcast or your favorite podcast, and you don't know what you want to be known for, you don't know what you want to be an expert in, if you were to be featured in Forbes Creators Under 30, and you don't know like what you want your brand to be and how you want people to talk about you, that's okay. Again, content creation is that deep. It's hard to know, like, what do you want your legacy to be about on social media? If you were to write a book, like, what would that be on? That is okay, but what I want you to do is go back. I have a whole video on how to define your blue sky scenario, your vision, your mission. I also do have a workbook as well where I have an audio with it. You can do the whole process of the workbook of defining your vision and your brand. So pause right here, go check all of that out, because if you don't have a clear vision and direction of a place you want to be at one day with content creation, this strategy and creating content is going to feel so messy and so random and so overwhelming. But if this is not the first video of mine you're ever seeing, I'm sure you have a clear vision, a mission, a why, a clear community. You probably are somebody who has clear goals for 2025. So with all that being said, let's get into the first part of the content strategy. I think collectively, myself included, we should all have the theme and era and filter mentally over our content of a hard launch introduction to social media. Again, going back to that 100K, 1 million version of you, that is who we are hard launching on social media right now. Because again, if you listen to the show, I know that you have a bigger mission, a bigger vision. There are lots of things you want to do with social media, business you want to build, income you want to build, a community you want to build. And I need you to start acting that way. Like, you were going to build something big, and I need you to start creating content like that person who already has all the things that you want. The version of you who is sitting on a huge podcast doing an interview, that is who is hard launching into social media right now. So you have officially entered the chat. This whole first part of the year, again, we are setting this foundation of a version of you that has never existed, the most elevated $1 million sitting on a huge podcast. That is who is creating content and showing up on social media, and we're just hard launching it. I am not talking about making like a reintroduction post. I'm not talking about explaining to people how you're changing your content or telling people what you're going to do or what you're going to change. We're going to show people exactly who we are through our content. Okay, so we got our mindset, we got our theme, our era. Let's get into the actual content of what we are going to post on social media. And for all the content ideas, all the content pillars for today, I want you first to think about a persona of somebody in your head. Think about somebody you want in your community and be so specific. Like, what podcasts do they listen to? How do they talk? What's their personality? What's their sense of humor? What struggles do they have? And think of a persona, because all the content I want you to make this quarter, I want you to talk directly to that person. It makes it so much easier to film content and have good energy if you have somebody in your head that you're talking to. First thing we're going to do is we're going to refresh our profiles. With every season, I love to do a good profile refresh, change your picture, update your highlights. I love the idea of having like one single highlight and deleting the rest. If you do really want to focus on one thing, I actually saw Mel Robbins, speaking of her, did this on her Instagram. She deleted all her highlights and has one about her new book. So just do like a bit of a visual refresh. But one of the most important parts of your profiles on social media, whether it's YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest, Instagram, is of course your bio. So I have an idea. I have a thought starter of how you could do your bio for this season, this era of content. So I did this to my bio, so I'll have some examples. Because we're really focused on a hard launch introduction, talking about our corner of social media, making people feel like they're a part of something, what I would do in your bio is I would have your first line be a tagline or a one-liner that you want to be known for. This could be something you say all the time. Mine is embrace the cringe. I just love saying that. It could even be normalize being not sad and single in your 30s, or making food fun again. And then for the second line, I want the second line to be a statement about the people on your account who follow you. So for example, you could say, over here, we hate my fitness pal, or we dress cute for the office over here. We don't feel sad about being single. Post-grad life is actually fun over here. Like something about saying we are over here, or welcome to the side where we. This really helps people feel like they're a part of a movement and something. Mine is creating content is that deep over here, because it's a really good way to kind of package your corner of social media as well. And then for the third line, I would just do a super simple call to action, YouTube, podcast, coaching, like one thing that you want people to go to. That is how I would package short form profiles. If you're on YouTube, you could even update your YouTube descriptions, like the default description that happens in your videos. On Pinterest, update your bio to a similar format. YouTube, you also have an about section. You could update those links, but just kind of refresh everything. Check out your link tree. Make sure your link tree or your links in your bio are like super clear. They have a very clear call to action in order of how you want people to go through your content. If you're really prioritizing your coaching or your book or your YouTube channel or your podcast, like having that right at the forefront. So that is the first part of the content strategy, is a little profile refresh and packaging for this era of content, your introduction, your hard launch to social. And again, have the bio that this like 1 million version of you would have. Okay, now let's get into the content pillars. And for the content strategy today, for these pillars, for this content, I want there to be two big focuses on our content. So the one, first of all, is establishing a super clear brand on social media of who you are, what you do, all of that, the introduction, hard launch era. But the second focus I want you to have with your content is to try to make people feel like they're a part of something. And there's already people over on your corner of social media, in your following, in your community, who think a certain way, who believe certain things, who have a certain vibe, a certain sense of humor. I really want that to be a focus for you. When you're creating captions and carousels and stories, really have that focus on your content to describe the people who follow you in your corner of social media, because I really want people, when they come across your content, to feel like they're really a part of something and like a part of a movement. So we're going to get into like how to actually do that, but those are the two main focuses we're going to have with content. So the first content pillar that we're going to create every single week is called Top FAQs. And so this is, again, stemming back to, if you're sitting on a big podcast, what are the type of questions you want to be asked, and what are the type of things you want to be known for? But again, we're just hard launching into it. So I have a couple examples of how you could do this, but for pillar one, I would do 30 to 60 second videos that are top FAQs of high level common questions you want to be known as an expert in, you have a lot of thoughts on, or you think people in your community struggle with or have questions about. So for example, I could do videos under this pillar of the things I know people really want to know about content and social media and entrepreneurship, which is like brand deals, the TikTok ban, social media growth tips. But the way I wouldn't position these videos is like actual questions and reintroductions. So what I mean by that is I wouldn't say, okay, how do you charge for brand deals? Let's talk about it. Hi, my name is Tess. I've worked in marketing for 10 years. Like, so boring. You're already bored and scrolled past. What I want you to do is just say, this is how much you're going to charge for brand deals in 2025. You're going to do this, this, and this. Like getting right to the point. Let's use a calorie counting example for another one. So instead of saying, do you need to count calories to lose weight? Like, what a good question. My name is Tess. I'm a personal trainer. No, what you're going to say is you do not need to count calories to lose weight in 2025. Instead, you need to focus on protein, and here's why. Like, you're going to get right into it. Authority, show your personality, show your face to the camera. This also could be in a style of like voiceover with B-roll of you like typing on your computer or working out, but still videos and footage of you. Going back to the focuses of our content. So the big focus again is to really establish your clear brand. So you've done that. But the other focus we're doing again is that for that video example, you would say, you don't need to count calories in 2025. You need to focus on protein instead, because over here, we all want our dream bodies in 2025, but we hate Fitness Pal over here. It's our worst nightmare. Like, that's what you would do. I'm going to put some checklists and content on our Instagram about like graphics and thought starters for this. But for content pillar number one, once or twice a week, depending how much content you want to do, I would focus on creating a video that is like a top FAQ that is authoritative, just a very common question of what you think people would ask and your unique take on it. You want your content to be very unique, very you. Show your personality, use your sense of humor, use the taglines that you have in your bio, and really talk about the people in your community and like what they think and feel. Okay, so content pillar number one, checked off. Once or twice a week, we'll do a video like that. You can pick a signature style, or you can play around with different styles. You could also do a carousel version of that as well if you're doing it on Instagram. But let's get into content pillar number two. This pillar is very not my usual vibe if you watch my content a lot, but hear me out. I'm going to call this content pillar trend problems. So what I want you to do is use, yes, a trending sound. I hate giving the advice of following trends on social media because I feel like so often they get views, but they don't convert to followers. It's kind of like a waste of your time. A lot of the time, just like jump on random trends. But all that being said, we're going to use trending sounds and trending audio on social media to kind of state problems and use that content as outreach content, but it's going to be very on brand, very establishing your authority, establishing who you are, your content. It's going to be a hard launch introduction coded trend. So let's get into it. Okay, these are hard to describe, so just like bear with me for a second. But you know that trending sound that says, you know what, hell yeah. But so what you would do, for example, that sound is going crazy right now on Instagram Reels and TikTok. So you would take that sound and you would make it you, and really as a way to hard launch who you are and your brand on social media. So what you could do, for example, is have a video of you like typing on a computer, running, smiling, like just saying, you know what, hell yeah. And you could, if your brand is all about like anti-hustle culture or nervous system regulation, you could have text on screen that says, when you meet a girly who's going to regulate her nervous system to hit her goals instead of hustle. Like that is a really good way to use a trending sound, have a video of you so you build like connection, but you're also kind of doing an advertisement of your brand and your community. So that is one way to do it. Like I could do a version of that sound where I'm saying, when you meet a content creator who's not obsessed with followers and numbers and they actually have a mission that they want to do. That is one way you could do it. Another way that you could use trending songs, trending sounds is trying to describe you as a creator. For example, you could use a trending song and I could have text on screen that says, people who think being a content creator is cringe, hate to see me coming. Or you could pick like a relatable problem. So if you're walking on the street and filming yourself to like a Sabrina Carpenter song, you could have text on screen that says, when you actually spent time doing your makeup and getting ready for the gym. And like it could be a sound that's like a fun celebration sound, like something relatable, but trying to use trending sounds and songs that are very encompassing of your brand, you as a creator, your corner of social media. I would do that like once a week. And again, not like a CapCut template with a cat on it, like a video of you with like text on the screen. It's really good outreach content. If it's something more funny or relatable, like a problem, it's very shareable. So it kind of hits a lot of birds with one stone with content pillar number 2. Okay, and then content pillar number 3, this is what I'm calling it. What I would do if I was trying to X in 2025 as a Y. I can't think of a better way to describe it. But the style of this video could either be talking to the camera, text on screen with B-roll of you, or a carousel. And the way I would do this is I'm just going to describe video examples, and I know you'll get what I'm saying. What I would do if I was trying to be a full-time content creator in 2025 is somebody with 100,000 followers. What I would do if I was trying to dress cute at my corporate job in 2025 is somebody who gets compliments every single day on their outfit. So what you're trying to do, if anyone has a cuter idea for this pillar, please feel free to let me know. But for this pillar, what I want you to do once or twice a week is have a video with that hook of a goal that your community and audience has, and you center it around 2025, and then you establish your own authority of why people would listen to you, and you make it more inward focused. This pillar is great for Q1 winter because people are very into 2025 content through all of Q1. So you're making it timely, but you're also being a bit more connected to your follower by saying, as somebody who blank. You could also say, as somebody who makes content for a living about fitness, or somebody who has a podcast about hustle culture. You could do that as well, but that is how I'd package pillar number 3. And this could be a great carousel as well if you don't want to do a video every single time, or you could remake your videos as carousels if you want more content. So those are the 3 content pillars I would pick for Q1, the winter into mid-April. And I just love a rigid content pillar strategy to really establish your brand, hard launch your brand, and say hello to social media. You have arrived. Your beautiful, amazing content is here. Now let's get into posting and reposting. I say this, and I will say this in every single one of these strategy videos this year and last year, is that the best posting schedule is the one that works for you. Every strategy I make over here at Busy Blooming is for people who are busy, myself included. We have a lot going on, whether you have a 9-to-5 job or you're doing multiple things, you're starting a business and have a podcast and do social media and you're writing a book. Like over here at Busy Blooming, we're busy blooming and we have a lot going on. So for a posting schedule, I would never recommend doing like you have to post every single day. If you want to do 6 days a week or 3 days a week, that that content is good. One thing I would recommend as a posting schedule is one way you could do it is you're going to pick a platform to post on and pick platforms to repost on. So what you would really do is, for example, you'd say, okay, Instagram is a social media platform I'm going to post on. I'm going to repost that content to Pinterest, YouTube, and TikTok. That's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to create 3 videos a week or 6 videos a week or 6 pieces of content a week for Instagram. And I'm going to repost all that content on these platforms. That's like a create reposting structure. If you have the time to create 3 fresh pieces of content for TikTok, for Instagram, for Pinterest every single week, that's obviously better. But I'm sure you were somebody who was busy if you're over on this corner of social media. So it's totally fine to think like, okay, in Q1, I'm going to create content for Instagram or for YouTube Shorts and then repost it on these platforms. When it comes to reposting, you can use something like Repurpose.io. It's a platform that like if you post on Instagram, it automatically repurposes it. That's a good tool if you're very, very busy. If you have the time, I would recommend filming and editing your content in Camera Roll and then in CapCut, and then manually putting that content on each platform, getting the tags and the captions in each one to like just really get in the algorithm. But I would really post like 3 to 6 times a week, one from each content pillar, post on one platform and repost on others. Okay, so that is all of the content that we're going to be posting in Q1 winter of 2025. Now let's move on into your brand. Branding is so important as a content creator. It's one of the most important pieces. It's not just what you talk about, it's how you talk about it, what it looks like, how you package it, your energy, your vibe, your sense of humor, like all of that. So what I'd recommend doing going into a fresh year, a fresh quarter, is I would go on Pinterest and make a mood board of what you aesthetically, visually want your content to look like. I would also go on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, screenshot and save content that you kind of want to emulate or do. We'll see how vulnerable I feel while we're doing the editing of this video, but I do have a vision board that I might put on the screen like super quick and just show you my personal vision board for content. But I think it's a really fun thing to do as a creator. And again, this is your like hard launch era. So what does your content look like when you have 1 million followers, you make $100,000 a year? What does that person's content look like? That is what your content is going to look like this quarter. So whether it's super polished, using your back camera, you edit a certain way, you have a little microphone, you get a new setup, you do want to do more lifestyle vlogs, but your vlogs look more aesthetic, or you want your vlogs to be more real, a little bit more messy. Create a vision board and a mood board and decide on certain styles and certain aesthetics and emojis, text color, title colors. If you use a similar song every time. I had a phase on TikTok where I always used to use the Gossip Girl intro in all my vlogs. So like, what do you want your visual aesthetic branding to be as a creator in your content? And then I also want you to decide a specific vibe or energy that you want your content to have. One of the hardest parts of being a content creator, and like the weirdest parts, is you kind of have to brand yourself. And a personal brand on social media is not like spilling all your deepest, darkest secrets, but a personal brand is really picking pieces of you and your personality, different parts of you, and making that like the forefront of your content. So really try to think about, do you want to really showcase your sense of humor, your energy, have a very calming side of you, talk a lot about a certain personal experience that you've had. You also could do more granular things of like always wearing like a Taylor Swift shirt. Do you always want to be having like a coffee or a Red Bull? So try to think of a few pieces of you that are genuinely you and really put those at the forefront of your brand. And again, the pieces of you that you would want to be really big and known for down the line. Okay, so that is the bulk of our content strategy, our mindset, our goals, our pillars, the content, our posting schedule, our brand. Now let's just quickly, to finish off this content strategy, go through a few questions I want you to ask yourself. I'll have these on our Instagram as well. That every time you create content, I want you to ask yourself these 3 questions, because I really want you to focus on, okay, establishing your 1 million version of you on social media and really hard launching your introduction. So here's what I would do. Every time you post a carousel or a video or a piece of content, I want you to ask yourself, could anybody else say this or create this? For example, if you're posting a quote with a Pinterest photo behind it, most people could post that. So you have to think, okay, how could I make this more unique? Or if you're creating a video about fitness tips, are you just saying, here are 3 tips to get fit in 2025? Like, anybody could say that who talks about fitness. So how could you make that video and piece of content more unique to people who follow you, whether it's someone's age or their struggles? What's a stronger, more unique piece of content than how to get fit in 2025 is how to get your dream body in 2025 if you hate counting calories and hate MyFitnessPal. Like, that's such a more unique, better video. So try to think about, is this piece of content unique enough to me? Could anybody else say this? And how can I make this that only I could say this? The next question I want you to ask yourself, we said this in the last strategy, is would anybody anybody save this video or piece of content or share this to their story. When you're creating a piece of content, if you were thinking, okay, nobody's going to save this and come back to this and nobody's going to share this, I would try to make it more packed with value or tips or humor or something relatable. So that's a really good gauge of content as well. And the last question where you ask yourself is, would I post this if I had 1 million followers? Would the $1 million version of me post this content? This has nothing to do with like the quality of your camera or the quality of your content or editing style. It could be a piece of it, but I want you to think about, is this the type of content I want to do when I have the things that I have, when I have the followers, the income, the business? Is this what I would be posting? It's another really good gauge to see if you're in alignment with your content. Okay, so that is our Q1 content strategy, winter 2025, what we're going to post, how we're going to do it, the mindset we're going to have, and we're all going to do this together. This is the strategy that I'll be following specifically on our Instagram, my personal Instagram, a mix of Busy Bloomings as well. And I'm so excited. If you see anybody in the wild posting this content, feel free to comment. We were kind of brainstorming in the last video of like what to say in the comments. I like somebody said, just comment "you're busy blooming," because it's kind of a compliment, but like the people who know, you know? Anyways, I'm so excited for 2025 for content. Season 1, we're starting off strong with a hard launch of an introduction of the 1 million version of us. And I'm so excited to be with you this year, creating content, building your vision, building your brand in social media. It's truly an honor to have so many amazing creators, podcasters, entrepreneurs over here in the Busy Bling world listening to the show in the comments every single week. And we're going to do big things this year. 2025 is going to be the year for all of us over here, and we're not going to do it alone. We're all in this together, High School Musical edition. And thank you so much for watching this video, kicking off 2025 with a 3-month content strategy. I'm so excited. Make sure to go check out our Instagram at Busy Blooming. We post in there all the time about content creation, social media, all of it. And I will see you in the next video. Bye. And don't forget to check out Taylor Brands. If you're ready to grow your social media while building a legitimate business, check out the link in my description or pinned comment to get started with Taylor Brands today, and you'll get 35% off LLC plans. You can let them handle the business setup while you focus on creating and scaling your brand. And thank you so much to Taylor Brands for sponsoring today's video, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.